Manhunt for 7 suspects together with armed men who facilitated their escape still on more than 24 hours after their attack on the Kwabenya police station. We will be live in Kwabenya, where many residents are apprehensive following the jailbreak. Ten students of the Jama Pensa Senior High School in the Ashanti region hospitalized after a demonstration against their headmaster turned violent. Also coming up, unknown assailants ransack home of the municipal chief executive of WA in the Upper West region. We will be live in WA this afternoon. And former Education Minister Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman refutes claims by Education Minister her mismanagement of the ministry led to millions of debts which almost crippled the education sector. And elsewhere, hundreds, including world leaders, attend the inauguration of George Oponwia. But what does Wia's presidency hold for Liberia? These and many more coming up. Do stay with us here on Newsroom. And you're welcome to Newsroom. We are beginning with the biggest happening in the country, the jailbreak at Kwabenya. And we know that the suspects are still on the run 24 hours after the incident. So far, we know that one police officer who was on duty died after sustaining gunshot wounds. We also understand the Minister for Interior and the IGP are visiting the crime scene. We will be bringing you live updates from Kwabenya in this edition of Newsroom. But what do we know about the suspects so far who are on the run? The police is looking for them, and so as you have here, we have the suspect Chibozu Akuba, and he was arrested for robbery, and he was on court remand in the Kwabenya police cells, and he's part of the people who escaped after that jailbreak in Kwabenya. Also, Adam Roxon, he was remanded for stealing, and he's also at large. And the next person we have is Kofi Dakon. He was arrested on the 19th of January 2018 for possessing firearms without authority. And so that's the other person. And we have Prince Osei Kofi Dakon. He was arrested for possessing firearms without authority, together with the other suspects. And so that's who you have on your screen. And now the other person is Dixon Ofori, and he was arrested for robbery. So these are the people I'm running you through, the suspects who were picked up by the police in Kwabenya, though they have escaped as a result of that jailbreak we are learning of. It happened in the early hours of yesterday, and we will be taking you live to Kwabenya. And so these people I run you through, they are on the run, and the police is looking for them. That is what we know about the incident with regard to the people who escaped between Dixon Ofori, Chibozu Akwabu, Adam Roxon, Kofi Dakon, Atakwajo, and Emmanuel Kote. And so anybody with information about the whereabouts of these people, you are encouraged to contact the nearest police station. And so we will be taking you live to Kwabenya. As I mentioned, the IGP and the Interior Minister are heading to the place currently. Our team of reporters are there, and we'll also be bringing you what happened at the place in the early hours of today. Here are our social media handles if you'd want to interact with us or share your views on these incessant crime we are recording in the country. You can do that via any of our social media platforms. And this is News-Abena with me, Owusu, Nyamekye. I've been joined in the studio by Samuel Lancelot Boateng. He has been to the Kwabenya police station where the jailbreak took place, and he gets to give us some updates. Lancelot, thank you for joining us. What were your observations when you got to the police station this morning?
Okay, so we got there around 7 a.m. And as usual, when we went there, we saw some of the policemen who have come to report on duty. But it was later that I saw a number of them also, tripling in, who I assume are going to be, dispatched to their various, points of duty. Yeah.
And that was around 7 a.m.?
7 a.m. at the time when we went there.
Did you have residents gathering at the police station to catch a glimpse of what has happened?
Not really. Where the police station is sited, it's removed from town.
Okay.
So you could only see, vehicles, passing. Yes, that's what that's how the place looks like.
And the whole police station, give us a mental picture of how the place is like. And I'm sure you cited the doors and the windows of the crime scene.
Okay. So, like I indicated now, early on, it's a police station, which is situated by the roadside. It's a structure, and it's open. It's not, confined. It's not confined or fenced. So it's prone, or it's open to any risk at all. So for me, when I got there, I wasn't surprised such an incident, occurred. That said, I went around the, building, and then I saw some traces of bullets, shot through the window. Those holes you see, I understand, were shots that were exchanged between, the fire, the gunmen who went to attack the police station.
And the police officers, those who work at that particular police post, did you cite any of them? What were their mood from what you saw? Right.
So I noticed they were not of themselves. Okay. I could see from their faces they are down, but because duty has called and it's the profession they chose, they have no option than to report and then attend to
Did
work.
anyone speak to you off camera?
They wouldn't speak because even the commander over there, in the person of Commander Esiama, is unwilling to even speak to us.
All right, thank you very much, Samuel Lancelot Boateng. He just returned from Kwabenya, and we will be going back to Kwabenya live to speak to my colleague Della Michelle. But right now, we can speak to security analyst with the West African Network for Peace Building, Albert Young. He's also the national coordinator for ONEB Ghana. Albert, thank you for joining us here on Newsroom. We've heard of a similar situation, a similar attempt to free suspects. That was at the courts in Kumasi. And this time, we are having them enter the police cells and free their colleagues. Were you surprised?
Well, I am not really surprised because, as we know, criminals, they usually would want to draw inspiration from experiences. So what happened in Kumasi is something that they think that there could be gaps in the system that they could exploit. And also thinking that if they have some sources which they could maybe draw on in terms of influence to get them off the grip of the law, then they could as well do so. So basically, not me alone, I believe that many security persons would not be surprised.
And so for you, the Delta Force incidents sort of emboldened these people to take this action?
It's not only the Delta Force's incident. There have been a number of incidences, even in the past, that prisoners attempted to break, and indeed some broke jail. And were being trailed, some rearrested and prosecuted and all of that. So a number of things are happening, even currently, which could be inspiration, or which these criminals could take inspiration from. For instance, the recent attack on security persons who want to maintain law and order. I'm talking about the Farmer-Fulani pastoralism conflict. And so a number of incidences have occurred in the past, and people could take inspiration from that. This is something that has happened, and let's pray we don't have them repeating in the next few or so weeks.
What does it say about the country's security apparatus?
I did not get that, please.
I want to know what this incident and the other happenings you cited, like the Agogo issue, what does it say about the security force of our country?
I think generally a number of things can point to that. One, if you look at the jailbreakers, and the people who attempted to free their colleagues, it would probably point to the fact that there are some, let me say, slow in nature of our investigation process, which probably would have put them, the people, somewhere. And it also tells how we make our arrangements in terms of security around these structures and premises, for instance, the prisons, about how many of the personnel could we have around the premises of the prisons and the other security locations where we have the suspects, detained. So we need to look at that. It also tells us that the criminals out there are observing certain behaviors of the security, and may think that, well, there is not so much confidence in these institutions, and is it possible to exploit that? So basically, that's the kind of thing I'm seeing. They are observing sometimes what people describe as a slow response to some of these happenings. And then they may think that, well, if we are out there and then we have some capacity, we could as well attempt or try our luck and see if we can be successful. So basically, I think that, yes, there is confidence in the security, but there are also challenges which need to be addressed.
How do you want this particular matter handled going forward, and in sending a strong signal to some of these miscreants who would want to perpetrate such an act in future?
I should not particularly this one, but I think that generally the way we respond to some of these security incidences, we need to look at that. I am not advocating for abuse of human rights of people or suspects, But I think that, yes, lately we have tried to be visible in terms of the security deployment. For instance, police visibility is out there, and there have been a number of combined efforts between the police and military to curb violence and to ensure that there is law and order in communities and to support government implement many of these policies. For instance, the Operation Vanguard against illegal mining, which caused some havoc in our communities in terms of the environment, and also the current deployment to fight the farmer Fulani pastoralist tensions, the violence that is occurring. But I think that generally we need to look at how really we respond to these. We need to be speedy in terms of our judicial processes. We need to relook at our security deployments, but we need the security needs to be very stringent in terms of how it responses to some of these things, so that criminals are not just seen as people who are normal human beings, ordinary citizens like us, because they have a certain level of capacity higher than you and me, who probably are not thinking of criminality.
Indeed.
And usually they are thinking ahead of the security systems. And so it means that the security systems also need to begin to look at that element, and so that they are far ahead. Then again, I think that the fight against the movement of arms, indeed some of them are not small arms. Usually we say small arms and light weapons, but it means that we need to really up our game in that fight. Because if you look at if the criminals don't think that they have higher arms than what the security have, then sometimes, or what, proportional one, then they might not even be attempting. But I think that, well, they have this capacity in terms of possession of arms, and maybe they could match that which the security has. So we need to up our game in the fight against the proliferation of small arms and light weapons.
Quickly, I know there was a program to get people to willingly surrender if they have arms, especially up north. I know ONEP has been monitoring this exercise. How has it been? People definitely profit from conflict and violence. And very often they look at the strategies that are deployed to react to the proliferation of small arms and light weapons. In some instances, monies that were given to people who possess arms, in terms of, let me say, cash for arms or something like that, and they probably were using that even to buy more arms, because the tendency was to attract them, to give the arms. But they probably were even acquiring sophisticated ones. I think that there has to be a very sustainable approach which will engage people more meaningfully. One is not just taking back the arms, but also a certain orientation, awareness, education of the people to reorient them, restrike them, and get them involved in economic ventures that are probably more lucrative than, engaging in violence and getting some kind of compensation for that. And of course, like I indicated, we need to really let the law be operational, so that criminals think that, yes, once you are caught engaged in any criminality, then the law will take its course, and then your life will never be the same. All right, Albert, we are glad you joined us on Newsroom today. Albert Yang is the National Coordinator of the West Africa Network for Peace Building, ONEP, and he's a security analyst. You're watching Newsroom on GHOne TV. In a bit, we will touch base with our reporters in Kwabenya, where the IGP and the Interior Minister are visiting the place. We'll do that right after this. Now let's move on to some other stories. Some unknown men have ransacked the home of the municipal chief executive of WA in the Upper West region. Several properties, including TV sets and other electronic gadgets, have been destroyed in the attack. Our Upper West regional correspondent Musa Lansa reports that the information gathered indicates the attack was carried out on the orders of the WA constituency chairman of the MPP, Alhaji Ali Kamara, allegedly due to a long misunderstanding between the two. Musa Lansa joins us via telephone. Musa, has the matter been reported to the police?
Well, the police have had information, but not a formal report from the MC for WA. But the police actually have information on that, and so far no one has been arrested in connection with this. But this misunderstanding has been long-standing, even to the extent that even during the parliamentary elections, especially the campaigns, the MC did not get the support of the constituency chairman of the area, and so the polling station executives elections brought these issues to a head when there were accusations that the MC was plotting to have people replaced so that they can vote against the constituency chairman during the constituency election. So it's alleged that the constituency chairman was not happy with that, and so ordered his youth, the supporters of following him, to teach the MC a lesson. But that has not been confirmed yet. It's just an allegation that is still ongoing, and so we're just waiting. No one has been arrested, as I said. We're just waiting for that. And this is not the only case. Across the region, Sisala West has similar issues of people accusing each other of trying to get names out so that they can vote out certain persons they did not like in the constituency election. So so far no one has been arrested, though the police have had information on what happened at the MC's private residence as well as his family home in WA.
Musa, you talk about a feud between the MCE and the NPP's constituency chairman. How are the NPP supporters in the area reacting to this feud which has led us here?
Well, when you go on to social media especially, you find various communicators of the party condemning the act by the youth and calling for the police to find out those who perpetrated the act and then arrest them. But generally, the young people in the party, especially those who are now looking for executive positions, are asking the party to forget of the past and then move on as one people, since vandalism or hooliganism is not going to help the party, as people continue to see the party as one that is not interested in fostering peace and unity in the area of now.
Musa Lansa there reporting from the Upper West region. Thank you very much. You're watching Newsroom on GHOne TV. Here's what to expect. 10 students of the Jama Pensa Senior High School in the Ashanti region hospitalized after a demonstration against their headmaster turned violent. Former Education Minister Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman refutes claims by the Education Minister her mismanagement led to the millions of debts which almost crippled the ministry. And of course, we'll take you to Liberia, where hundreds, including world leaders, attend the inauguration of George Oponwia. But what does his presidency hold for Liberia? You can join us with your comments if you have any on that.
The Ghana Trade Fair Company, under the auspices of the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the One District One Factory Secretariat, welcomes you to the 22nd Ghana International Trade Fair under the theme Industrializing Ghana and Creating Jobs. It will be 1 week of exhibition and enterprise from February 28 to March 7, 2018, offering manufacturers, suppliers, consumers, and various service providers the opportunity to network and make sales. The Presidency urges you to support, partner, and explore the opportunities available.
For inquiries, call 0241-818-658, 0244-173-127, 055-247-4632, or visit tradefairgh.com.
The 22nd Ghana International Trade Fair, industrializing Ghana and creating jobs.
There are conversations, and there are real conversations.
The tumor had eaten. Oh my God. I can't, you can't visualize it without. Yeah. If I had to lose my boobs, would you worry? Don't answer that
yet. Stories and real life stories.
I think I've known about breast cancer for quite some time.
Okay.
But I never really thought
that it
will happen to me. But it happened.
But amidst all the chaos around the world, we still find a way to have some fun, because that's what we're all about.
Today, are you enjoying it? No.
A brand new show, a brand new me, and certainly brand new conversations about anything and everything, from social issues to food, health, life choices, work life, and even sex. Yeah, sometimes. No holds barred. With a team of young vocal individuals and some professionals, we're redefining talk and entertainment. My name is Bella Mundi, and this is The Late Afternoon Show.
The Late Afternoon Show, showing on GHOne TV every Monday and Friday at 4 p.m. and proudly brought to you by Niche Chocolate, Taste of Ghana, Electroland Ghana.
There is a certain satisfaction that comes from hearing the real story from the horse's own mouth when a story breaks or is developing.
There are many enterprises of life that the Nanado government will fail.
This business about fighting corruption, we should move it away from the corridors of parliament and confront the greater matter outside there.
State of Affairs will be bringing you exactly that. We'll go eye to eye, face to face, and head to head with the newsmakers at the heart of a story that is breaking or developing to unravel the intricate and minute details of the issues.
State of Affairs, now showing this and every Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. State of Affairs is proudly sponsored by Verna Natural Mineral Water.
You're welcome back to Newsroom. About 10 students of the Jama Pensa Senior High School in the Ashanti region have been hospitalized after they sustained injuries during a demonstration against the headmaster of the school. Now, hundreds of students who took part in the demonstration are demanding the removal of the headmaster, Kwejo Boache Iyadom. The irate students vandalized some properties in the school, including the headmaster's bungalow and the school's assembly hall. Isaac Bediakon is with our sister station Ultimate FM in Kumasi, and he has joined us via telephone with more on this story. Isaac, what brought about this demonstration?
Well, according to the students, the headmaster of the school is always presenting them from taking part in Ashanti Regional Intercollegiate competition. All apart from that, the headmaster has also cancelled all entertainment activities on campus. So they believe that the headmaster is not working for their interest. But apart from that, when they write the work exam, a place like performance is very poor. So these among other reasons why these students decided to start for the demonstration last night. According to the school, the demonstration was supposed to take place that's today, but yesterday, teacher in the school class, one of the students is dining wrong, so they forgot by that particular aspect on their colleagues, and that is why they couldn't wait for the demonstration to start today before they did it yesterday. And as at the time I went to campus, I still realized that the students were still in their anger mood. 7 of their colleagues during the demonstrations sustained various degrees of injury, so they were rushed to Ankara Government Hospital where they received medical attention. And I was leaving the school around 10 a.m. Only 2 students were still on admission at the hospital. Now the district chief executive of the area, together with the regional directors of the education, GHOne, were on campus this morning. Now they will part of the district will form independent the two members on that investigation into the demonstration. So as it stands now, police are still stationed on campus, but majority of the students are finding their things and gone home because of the distractions that took place in the school. When the girls' dormitory, for instance, they cut electricity power supply to the girls' dormitory, they destroy their substance, river blades in the school, and the headmaster's bundle was also attacked. Her wife's provision shop on campus. The students broke into the provision shop, took all the items that they can take, the drinks, biscuits, among other things, to keep all those things away. So
Isaac, where was the headmaster in all of this? Isaac?
Yes.
Where was the headmaster during the demonstration?
Well, he was on campus. He was in his room. But because his room are covered with the public school, the students did not get access into his room, so they did not access him. But with the support of the policemen, they were able to take him out.
We are learning of another protest when you've gotten there right now. What is that protest also about?
Hello?
Isaac?
Yes.
We understand there's another protest in a similar institution. Where exactly is that and what can you tell us?
Yes, there is another demonstration ongoing as I speak with you here in the GHOne Senior High School, where teachers have abandoned classes activities. We speak now, all classes activities at GHOne Senior High School have come to a halt because the teachers are demonstrating against the head teacher. What they are saying is that the headmaster is being autocratic. And so since last week, the students come to school and they don't get teachers to teach them. The teachers were on sit-down strike, and today they are on demonstration. Now they have them with me the spokesperson for the school. So he will explain to us why they are embarking on this demonstration. Gentlemen, tell us why you have abandoned lectures and you are here chanting war songs, beating drums, all because of one headmaster.
Yes, thank you very much. I must say that the teachers are 99 and minus the management, and out of the 99, 85 of us are saying that we don't want the headmaster for GHOne Senior School. Why? Yes, we have written a 5-point petition against this man. Ever since this man, Mr. Francis was transferred from the Senior High School, perhaps the same thing happened. Ever since he assumed office, he has been a collision course with the teachers. And so we have 5-point petition. One of such
and
one
so that's
is the show
a teacher at the GHOne Senior High School. Speaking to my colleague Isaac Bediakon from the school, we understand the teachers are embarking on a protest. We'll bring you more on that later this evening on News Tonight. Right now, former Education Minister Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman has refuted claims that her mismanagement of the ministry led to millions of debts owed the sector. It follows accusations by Education Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh that the former minister left the sector burdened with debts, including 36 million cedis of feeding grants for colleges of education and 33 million cedis for the progressively free senior high school policy under the Mahama administration. But reacting to this, former Minister Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman said the debts at the ministry are as a result of projects which were still being undertaken by the ministry and expected to be defrayed by government.
government projects ongoing. Governments will the boarding school who has the money. It just happens that maybe somebody is helping, so we're able to identify another 120,000 in the boarding school system, over 360,000 in the day school system. So going forward, we're going to target even further. But again, because the argument is still, the reverse is still true, that is again not everybody in the day school who cannot pay. So I was even recommending that we have to redesign the admission form into the secondary school. We have to redesign the form that pupils fill when they're going to write the BC, because that data will help us to determine, to make some projections about what is possible.
And we're moving on, and on a very sad note, retired Ghanaian diplomat KB Asante has passed on. Family sources indicate that the elderly statesman died Monday dawn at his residence here in Accra. He was 93 years old. He was the secretary to Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He also served under most heads of state in Ghana, starting from Nkrumah, and also served as the principal secretary of the African Affairs Secretariat from 1960 to 1966. Born on March 1st, 1924, Asante attended Achimota School, then Achimota College, where he taught mathematics between 1945 and 48 before proceeding to the Durham University in Britain, where he obtained a BSc in mathematics in 1952. He also became a member of the Institute of Statisticians in 1953 before returning to Achimota College, where he taught mathematics in 1953 to 55. May he rest in peace. Now, though water is one of the basic social amenities, over 6 million people in Ghana live without access to potable drinking water. That's according to WaterAid. In the light of this, Water for Rural Africa, a non-governmental organization, has launched a $10 million fund project to provide potable water to people living in rural communities to help achieve the UN SDG Goal 6.
It has almost become a cliche to hear people say water is life, as thousands of people have to struggle to get access to clean water. Though Ghana is over 60 years old, the fight to get clean water still lives with us. According to Donald Senanu Agumenu, President of Water for Rural Africa, his medium is looking at constructing 1,000 boreholes in various rural communities in the country to provide safe drinking water in a quest to transform lives. He added that they have been able to construct 25 boreholes at various communities in the Volta region.
We believe that Ghana governments, the African governments, there are resources. If those resources can only be managed effectively and efficiently, we will be able to save resources, money, and be able to push in that money into providing potable and clean water.
Speaking at the launch, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, John Peter Amewu, lauded Donald Senanu Agumenu and his team, indicating that government will support in achieving the aim of the project.
As a government, we are determined to make sure that we reverse the current wheel. And that is why His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in coming out with a team of supporters to make sure that we address some of these challenges facing this country, created a ministry solely to be responsible for water and sanitation.
Finally launched a $10 million fund.
And let's return to our top headline story for this afternoon about the jailbreak in Kwabenya. We are taking you live where my colleague Della Michelle is standing by. Della, tell us about the mood in Kwabenya now.
Adwala.
Hello, Della.
Hello, Abena.
What is the mood in Kwabenya currently?
All right. right, so now why I'm in Kwabenya, the community itself, just the station in Kwabenya. Everybody seems to be going about their normal duties, far from the police station where we have quite a number of people, especially the media and other reporters, waiting for the Interior Minister and other authorities to come to the place. But here where I am at the GPRTU station, everybody is calm. The drivers are going about their normal activities. People are selling, people are trading. Even though it is a situation that is worrying for them, life must go on for many residents here in Kwabenya.
And I'm sure you've been interacting with some of them. What have they been telling you? And if you could speak to some of the drivers or the residents.
I have been interacting with some of them, and they are here with me right now. I have with me Samson. He's one of the drivers here. And see, good morning.
Morning.
Sisia no yewo GHOne TV so yepese bisa say asem na si no nkofo no mu free police ho e wo Kwabenya no wa ha say wo te Kwabenya ha say na asem no hu ne say wo bohu ana
ehu de edu ba bi a ye bohu edu ba bi nso a na ade no ye nsuo ne ehu ne yie because police e wa ha nyina ye ni omo te say enuanom ye drivers one yetimi adwuma ma to bia ade eche ye ni omo a na di akwane aba kopem sa ade ebeti nti eba no sa ehu a kakra aba ye mu ni say friendship na wo ye ni police for ntem no ye hu say asa o mani bebre ye nso mo because omo manto barriers a ye ni omo a omo hu ya o seke say ye di nkomo fine but ade ya si omo nim nipa next time no betima be omo sa abone no na ma ehu kakra ba ye drivers no mu say e bia say na ni omo ti no ye nsan konya ni sa biom that's the only concern we have see
ma pacho wo ton ade wa ha say oye oba tan ehun se na sem na si nkofo free police prison ho omaba kan krom ha say eba ne ban bo a eba ne hu so ade na koso wo mu
no kuraja me anim na fi enno a pa amekasa me dai metumi da yi ana me bo isan say ehun wo me mu misro papa isan say this is oman na ye wo mu no kure ni ehun aba mu say obetimi twutu owura says koyi nipa wo ho nyina mo mu dwane na wo be kan ye ho ye no mu nyina transi dididi a enu ko ye ni anije no kwanya me anim ne me ka say fi nru ano ba me hu sa de na hu aka me meti ben ha ye no police for na nso aha ye no mo a enu kwanya me anim no aban ne fa ne nan si fom o ma security ni mu nya den se mu anya den di a ene na ekoso sa fi so bo ye chi de kotum sesi a eni na ansa bo hu anya sia san yi no wa fa ne lawyer so odi nsemfo de obaye bia fa lawyer nti sai ho kakra no empanifo fo mo nan si fom na so obi di bone a ye so fa lawyer no better so aba be di do abeka ye ho ye ne na mu sa no kwanya me enu me ho de kwa constitution say mala no mu hwe ni yie pa enko yie so be di bone nya kire na tum eni ahene asa ja no ye so fa lawyer no aba didi e say we di bone abesa abanti we say fa ndo be di bone ne sa akosi da ben mesre say no kure ni ehu de e bi da me say me so pa
na o kan ban bo o say o stress say aban enbo mo ho ban then say na o pesa aban enbo mo ho ban
say na me na ka mesre say say ye wo soldiers wo ho soldier for omo fo mo nyina magun name o man emu obi na obesuro ne ho say police ni che we san aba soldier ni say me say soldier ni pa o boss say am say medwane police ni dey am so aban eni nya na no mo nyina ya na fofo mo soldier ni ba ko begina ha papa mame me srawo say ha say obi abe di soldier ni ba ko betimi awen ha na police ni dey so aban dey o ye ne na ezi ya ma soldier no ye fa bimra meka wo mo no meye adwuma no ni obia ni na ne ho so mesrawo me madwene no
Samson or say or per se soldiers in Brahab soldiers in Beckham police for home what in they are doing
the soldiers there in fact say soldiers team control police station so we ho emra na cheche mu dwuma wo so obi agin obi abedin pepepe but akronfo na so mo hwe ni yi em say me monitor one of the radio stations no according to sources no nkronfo na idioma court and I sabe remind you nyina ho nipa makwa 7 one side ndie minyi ni say enu ye safe nti police for no show madwuma no munya ni yie em say mistake bi na aba because say ya mimi nipa eno nipa be 7 mo kampo mo ba ko na boni bi aba metri mu a na say medi sa boni na min sabe ka 7 ni nyina na mom say anka ya ya chicho mumu we wa ha no koyi ba ko krampo na other ones wo ho a ye be bi so mo na ye hu ba bi a ye beti omo maka no nti police for no mo show madwuma no munya ni yie soldier de enim so mo barracks etu ne ndia ye be ma omaso ati no mo so ma ba enyom ombe ye na mom soldiers ni civilians be dia kwanya ba de no it is not done anywhere
Okay. So, Abna, I have been engaging them. You hear what they are saying. Some of them are appealing to government that they should actually let the police and the military should work together, especially in this community, to make sure that cases like this do not happen. But I just want to find out from her one more time. Usroma unkwa.
Menukweja me enemy. Media yenina nyame nkwa. Woman na ye womu yenina me kunu womu busuafo womu ye mampani kura pos omu nyina la. Misoma yenina se ye bambo no mu ye din a. Enukwenya me yada ye betumi ada. Me de fi no amomu mame me no me wa sorry na me tie ye nukwe bedu fi me bakra wo fi ono wo se ye ma de na e ba o man mu e fi se bi sisi ba bi bi obi ekun obi we to obi se kansem na wo basa de enti obi betimi me we TV da TV station bi ase akola bi abaya bi e twa ndade ba ko no odwane ko enti se ehu bi ba mu a nipa na mo behwe ne ho so yie e na police station ho nso so no samo mampanifo omo mbega nya ba ko mienu me say me jo me yo ba me police ni mo de makoto won mo say me ngade bibi ba say me say me dwe me ma ho enti mo ma je say me mama night no mo bo why Mr.
Abna, so you've heard it for yourself. They are saying that they pray for more security here in Kwabenya and also across the country. And also, as a lady, as a mother, she fears for her life, fears for her children, and in fact, she fears for many Ghanaians now due to what has happened here. But very soon, we are expected to see the interior minister, here at the Kwabenya police station to address the situation as well. So later on in our bulletin tonight, we'll give updates to what the interior minister had to say, the interaction between him and then the police commander here.
Indeed, thank you very much, Della Michelle, joining us from Kwabenya. We're moving on and bringing you some business stories now. And Ghana's debt stock continued to remain a major concern for most economic watchers, despite assurances by the Finance Ministry that it is adopting cost-effective measures that would reduce the country's debt. Latest figures released by the Bank of Ghana show that the country's debt stock has hit 138.8 billion cedis as of November 2017, representing 68.7% of the GDP.
Ghana's high debt portfolio on both the external and domestic fronts, the Finance Ministry has indicated through its issuance calendar that it would borrow some 11 billion cedis in the first quarter of year 2018. The country's debts show a marginal decrease in the September figure of 138.9 billion cedis compared to the November figure of 138.8 billion cedis. Out of the 138.8 billion cedis debt recorded as of November 2017, the external component stood at $16.9 billion. That's an equivalent of 74.7 billion cedis, while the domestic component stood at 64.2 billion cedis.
Well, the Bank of Ghana, the governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, is today announcing the central bank's policy rate for the commercial banks. Kweku Temeng is there and has joined us via telephone. Kweku, do we know the new policy rate yet? Hello, Kweku. All right, we seem to be having some challenges with that connection, but Kweku Temeng is joining us from the Bank of Ghana because the governor is announcing the new policy rate today, and it follows the Monetary Policy Committee's annual meeting to review the health of the Ghanaian economy. And my colleague Kweku Temeng is there for GHOne News. Very soon he will join us via telephone to tell us what the new policy rate is, that is, if it's been announced yet. Another interesting highlights on the economy that the governor will be touching on. You're watching Newsroom on GHOne TV, and on the business segment, the governor of the Bank of Ghana is to announce the policy rate shortly. Kweku, thank you for joining us. What is the new policy rate? Do we know?
Absolutely, the governor a short while ago announced that the policy rate was going to be maintained at 20%. Now, I'm not talking about maintaining the policy rate simply means that if you're going to the bank to borrow money, you don't expect any changes away from the last quarter. Indeed, the governor gives indication that the economy is looking fairly stable. The risk to inflation is not so much. There are so many economic activities that are on track for year 2018. As a result, they don't see that there would be any dangers ahead. So they would just want to maintain the policy rate. Now, for those of you listening, the
policy rate is indicative of the amount at which, or the rate at which an individual borrows from the various markets. That's from the central bank, the banks borrowing from the central bank, and then on lending to individuals and businesses. So for those of you going to the bank to borrow money, you should not expect so much change.
Kweku, thank you very much. Kweku Timing joined us from the Central Bank. Now, all is set for the people of Liberia to swear in the 25th president of the West African country. Georgia defeated incumbent Vice President Joseph Boakai in one of the peaceful elections in the country's political history. Some world leaders and football icons are expected to grace Ria's inauguration today in Monrovia. There's more in this report.
Electricity in Liberia too, I want to see it improving. And I also want President George to also build the country. Things that the past government they didn't do, they should do it. President George, upon we are in Ghana, the Liberians are in Ghana. We're so happy, the youth, everybody is thanking God for what the Lord has done for us. So right now, we're asking him, we are here in Ghana, we're asking him to do something better so we can be able to get back and work with him for better Liberia for tomorrow.
I give God the glory for upon we are to win the election. But the only thing that I want for him to do for us in our place there, I need development to develop our country. No road, there's no road, and our children, they fall back in education. No good education. Some of the children are back home. There's no money for them to carry their education forward. They end up rushing, doing different things. But I just think I see him saying he there now for the youth, so he will try and carry our children education forward.
Liberia is not just Monrovia. The rural area is also part of Liberia. You understand? If the rural gets developed, people will go there, invest. That will help the economy boost. But I pray that George appoints the rightful people in the rightful place.
Other people country will see how the country is developed. We're jealous. So I want for you to develop my country so I can get back home.
So I'm so happy that Liberia has set another record to produce a first African or first football player in the world.
And those were the expectations of Liberians in Ghana here at the Budumburam camp, sharing that with GHOne News. Well, William Evans Inkum is joining us from the offices of International Relations expert Dr. Vladimir Enchidan. So for a quick conversation on the expectations of the new Liberian president and what he can do to make the country better. Hello, Williams.
Hello, Abna.
Take it away.
Well, thank you so much. The comments that were coming from Bujumbura. Yes, these are genuine comments and genuine things that they want to see the next president, George Weah, do as far as his administration is concerned. But we are also here to talk about security, and the man to help us digest this particular topic is Dr. Vladimir Enchidan. So, of course, he is the Director of Academic Affairs here at the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College. Doc, I thank you so much for your time. So, somewhere in October, I was in Liberia. In fact, one of the counties, precisely Majibi, I spoke to ex-warlords here, and they told me nothing has changed ever since they laid down their guns. The issue of nepotism, favoritism, and then corruption is still rife in the corridors of power. Now, even though they tell me they never again will they pick up any arms to fight or oust any government, do you trust their comments?
Well, their comments may not be trusted simply because the inception of war does not depend on when they think they would. The situation would demand it. First and foremost, let's congratulate upon Weah for winning the elections, and the calm that we see around the elections is very important. And as you rightly put it, that is what is called in security studies managing expectation gap. every government, when you come into power, there is some expectation, the reason for which people voted for you. And therefore, people are expecting A, B, C, D. I think Salif Johnson did very well, holding the balance until the Ebola crisis and whatnot. You would see that the country was calm, and there were not any incidents that suggest that they were going back to the days of the war. Having done that, the next thing any other government would have to do is to consolidate the calmness. And it behoves, it's incumbent upon we are now to keep that balance and move forward. What is expected of him where security and governance is concerned is for him to be what we call a transformational leader, to transform the nation from what it was. He must know where the country has been coming from, where they are now, and must have a vision of taking the country forward in order that the problems that you were talking about would be a thing of the past. So this is how you should manage the country.
Okay, so Doc, for the sake of our time, I just want to add this last question. The man from Gibraltar Slam, the former football icon, former senator for Monserrado, after today is going to have a new status because he's now the 25th president of the Republic of Liberia. Does he have what it takes to change the narrative?
No, the point is to change the narrative. You don't need to be a specific person with some. Nobody has ever written down anything about the credentials of a president, but there are some modicum of some credentials you would have. Like you put it, he's a popular person. He was a footballer. He's rich. He's known to the people. What it takes to become a very good president is the team that you work with.
Okay.
The team shapes you, okay, and then you shape the society to shape you too. He needs to build institutions of state that will maintain the peace. If he does that, he has no problem. He needs also to understand that there's need for constitutionalism and institutionalism. If he focuses on this and he has a good team, he has no problem. Thirdly, because of the background of his vice and because of the background that you gave us a narration, he needs to endear himself to the international community for support. And the support will come if they know that he's not going to be clientelist or, you know, that favoritism that you're talking about. He's not going to favor the one side and that kind of thing. If he does this, the international community will support. So it takes more to understand the metrics of governance. Okay. And if he endears himself to his advisors and he gets good advisors, I think he'll be able to make it.
All right, so Abna, that was Dr. Vladimir Enchidan, so giving us this perspective as far as the new president of the Republic of Liberia is concerned. You take it from here.
Many thanks. William Evans Inkum there speaking to Dr. Vladimir Enchidan. So we'll quickly round up with sports. And we're telling you about the games, the Hoda Family Games over the weekend, and it saw EIB Network being crowned as football winners after beating Star Assurance but by 1-0 in the final at the Elwak Stadium. EIB participating for the third time in the 9th edition of the Hoda Games, which saw 14 companies battle it out in soccer, tug of peace, volleyball and athletics. And the CEO Kwabena Anochia DC in your shots there, and of course the founder of the Hoda Group, Dr. Kwabena Dofo, who had some words for the family.
You had only one, but you changed the whole environment. That's the idea. And let me say, I'm really excited. You've done so well. Over the past 5-6 hours, you've been playing together, laughing together, bonding together. That's the purpose of this event.
Well, it's been a pleasure coming your way with GHOne Newsroom today. My name is Owusu. The team will be back at 6:30 with News Tonight.